Hey guys, so here's your stuff for Sunday. We're gonna do 4-minute warm up, jumping jacks, same old, right? Really just always when we're doing these, make sure that you're getting your arms up all the way and it's not just getting them over with, trying to get kind of warming up the whole body out of it. Crab, thigh touches, and those, so usually when we're doing crab walks, we rock around the gym like this, length of the gym, but we're gonna get your hips up, you're gonna touch your thigh. So you gotta kind of shift the weight, keep that shoulder really solid, that here, the arm that you're on, supporting your weight. But again, pretty simple. 10 left, 10 right, alternate. And then kettlebell, sumo deadlift, high pull. So if you have a kettlebell, you're gonna use that. I'll show you the other options, but you got the wide stance. You're gonna get your butt down and your chest up, kind of like a little bit more upright of a deadlift. And then we're gonna do a deadlift to start, fast shrug, fast high extension and shrug at the top, quick high pull, and then let it back down. So in real time, it's okay. So if I have a dumbbell, I can hold it like at the end, or I can hold it this way. It's just a long way down. Maybe I don't quite go to the floor if I've got the dumbbell facing that way. Barbell, same idea. Wide stance, narrow grip. Okay, it's only a warm up. It's only 10. You don't have to make it very heavy. Should be able to do 10 in a row. Yeah, and then for this warm up, you should be maybe able to get a couple rounds. So what we're trying to get out of the strength here. So Curtis P complex is a sort of a barbell complex that we've done before. It's similar to a bear complex if you've done some of this stuff before, but anytime it says complex, there's a bunch of different lifts without putting the bar down. So we're going to hang on to the bar for a while, but also kind of change up so it's not just the same movement over and over. You're kind of following this little sequence. So you're going to do a power. So if it's meant to be with a barbell and it's meant to get really heavy, if you have a barbell, it's going to be a power clean to the shoulder. Then you're going to do a lunge in the front rack, lunge in the front rack, and then you're going to go shoulder to overhead. So you're going to do a push press or a push jerk, right? So that's one rep. So that's through that sequence, through that clean lunge, shoulder overhead, counts as one. And you're going to go through that 5 times. So after I'm done my shoulder overhead, I start around rep number 2. So I bring it down, touch the ground, up to the shoulder. So it doesn't get to rest on the ground, it just touches the ground and comes back up. So touch and go. And then I go lunge, shoulder overhead. 2, right? So I'm going to go through that sequence 5 times without resting. I can stand there, I can stand here on the shoulders and kind of take a breather, right? But there's really no comfortable place to rest on this one. But I can't put the bar down. So I can't go to put the bar down between reps, shake it out and go again, or I can't even put it down, kind of rest my grip for a second. I've got to touch and go. So if it hits the ground, it comes right back up. Yeah, so as far as the movements, we're going to be a little quicker on each one, but power cleans, we always want to get to this power position. It's not going to be the heaviest power clean we've ever done because you're only doing kind of one and then you do 2 other things. And usually it's going to be the shoulder to overhead movement is going to be the limiter for people. So usually people can power clean and they can lunge, maybe. But for a lot of the people, it's going to be that shoulder overhead or maybe the lunge. That's going to be the thing that's going to kind of tell them how much weight they can do for this complex. So yeah, so power clean, we're always trying to get to this power position, right? So I want to get vertical chest, arms straight, bars kind of high thigh, pocket height, and then that should get me going the right direction when I clean it up. So if I do a deadlift and I kind of hit here, that's when that bar is going forward, right? So we're going to be patient enough that when we bring butt and shoulders up together to the knee, and then we start bringing our chest up to power position, we get all the way to vertical so that our extension can get the bar to go in the right direction to the shoulder. So not going over that as much as normal, and we do like a clean thing, but even though it's light, still try to work on it, right? So still try to think about getting that extension. So this might be quite a light clean that you could just kind of do it ugly. So, right, make sure that they're proper, make sure that, you know, every rep that you're doing, you're focusing on getting it right, okay? After the clean, you can really loosen off your hands. So say you caught it, you know, with maybe a little bit of grip on the bar, like, it's hard to see with the PVC because it doesn't really pull down, but once you're doing those lunges, you really got to work on keeping those elbows up. So when I do these lunges, I want to make sure that this is straight on, and I don't want to let them drop to here, because especially when I lunge, it's going to turn into that, and then the bar is going to pull me forward. It's going to be killing my wrists. So loosen the grip off as much as you can, right? Even if you kind of take a couple fingers off to let you get those elbows high, right? And then, like always, so you're just doing one left and one right, or one right and one left, as long as you just do one of each. These are heavy, right? So we're going to brace, just like you're going to do a big squat. Take a breath, right? And then at the bottom, I don't want to let that out, but at the bottom, I want this shin to be, you know, vertical, or see how it's just a little bit past straight up, but my knee is not. So once I get to the knee to toe, that heel wants to come up, right? So I want to keep it closer to that vertical shin, right? And then the chest should also be vertical, and the elbow should be straight out. Okay, and then shoulder overhead, you're going to have to re-grip your hands. So if you've got that really loose grip and pinkies are off or whatever, you won't be able to press like that, so you're going to have to get the bar into your hands. So you're going to give it a little bump into the hands. So what that means is kind of giving it a little bit like a dip and drive, just to get the bar to float for a second, so that I can kind of get my hands around it. Instead of kind of going wiggle, wiggle, I'm going to give it a little momentum up, and then I'm going to re-grip while it's kind of floating there for a second. So then I can get my hands around the bar again, elbows lower a little bit, so elbows should be just in front and not way up there anymore, okay? And then I'm going to use my legs. Make sure you use your legs on these. You don't want to strict press this. It's not going to last. You won't be able to lift as much weight in the end. But I'm going to do a dip, short little dip, and chest stays upright, just like you would in power position, right? So there, and then straight up, and drive, right? And head through the top. Okay, if I dip and I go forward, right? So if I dip and I get under the toes, the bar's going to be going that way. So if right, I'm going to be following it forward, right? So it's all about staying in that kind of frontal planes, keeping the bar going straight up. So short little dip, chest stays up, drive, and head through. And we can also finish like a push jerk where we land low, okay? Yeah, so those are kind of the movements if you're using a bar. If you have a bar, you can, this is going to be harder than you think. Just like bear complex, where it's like, say you go through that cycle 5 times, heart rate's really high, you're going to need a couple minutes at least of rest between each set. Usually we kind of start light, medium, and then we build up to like a max in the 5th set. I know it's going to be tough. If you only have a certain amount of weight at home, and 5 sets of, a set of 5 times through the sequence is easy, let's add some reps. So maybe you're doing 2 power cleans, 2 lunges left, 2 lunges right, 2 overhead, right? So doubling the reps in that sequence, but still do 5 times through. That's only if you have only like 10 pounds of weight on a bar, or 20 pounds of weight or whatever. Yeah, if you can add weight as you go, okay? But it should be hard, where you should be you know, usually when we do this, people consider this a WOD, right? When, each one is kind of gets the heart rate up so much that you almost need to sit down between each set. Okay. So if you got a dumbbell, you're going to do a power clean. It's from the ground. Both heads of the dumbbell are going to touch the ground and up to the shoulder. Right. I would do this whole sequence on one side and then the whole sequence on the other side. Right. So I'm going to do everything with my right, like the whole thing, and then everything with my left, and then maybe add more reps if I need to. But I would do, so from the ground, keep the back straight when I'm down here, touch the ground, to the shoulder, so there's a power clean, right? And then I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to do lunge, lunge, and then overhead, okay? Then I'll bring it back down, power clean, lunge, lunge, remember head through when I'm up and overhead. Okay, so again, that might be easy or hard for you, but I do want to even it out. So I'd say that would be a kind of a good starting point. Maybe your first set you do, so doing that combo on both sides equals 1, right? So I'm going to do that, it's going to add up, right? Even if that was pretty light for me, if I go power clean, lunge, lunge, right, power clean, lunge, lunge, left, that equals 1. And I got to do 5 times through that, right? So it's going to add up, but if you can, if you realize that it is really light, you can do that 5 times, no problem. Let's double the reps. So you're going to do power clean, lunge, 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 overhead, overhead. Yeah, same with a kettlebell. You're doing a kettlebell clean, and we want to land in that kind of arm angle at a 45, so we can kind of rest the dumbbell on the forearm here. So it'll be from the ground to here. I want to keep this knuckle under my chin. Use this arm for balance. Okay. You might have to put the, you know, if you don't have the skill of changing hands in the air with a dumbbell or a kettlebell, you can put it down and then pick it up. With a barbell, it's supposed to be touch and go, but if you have the skill to change hands in the air, like some people with a kettlebell, they can kind of do a swing and re-grip in the air. Yeah, same idea. Make sure you even it out. I would do both sides unless it's really hard, then I would just do the one side. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. I know it's a little more complicated than normal, but remember 1 rep of that list equals clean, lunge, lunge, shoulder overhead. So that's 1. Then when you go clean, lunge, lunge, shoulder overhead is 2. Clean, lunge, lunge, 3. Clean, lunge, 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 overhead 4. And then 1 more time through for 5 is 1 set. Okay? So I know usually I'm explaining this to people a little bit more in the gym, and it's probably even harder when you got no one to talk to. Okay? Yeah, so WOD is 16 minutes. You're going to do pistols, which are 1-legged squats. Okay, so some people have those down, some people need to scale them a little bit. In the house, without so many scaling options, I find that, like, you know, a low chair or step, it's 20, so it's quite a few. So you're alternating steps, left, right. So if I sit to a box with this foot is up the whole time, right? Don't let it touch the ground. Before I start to sit, so I don't sit and then bring it up, and I don't put it down and then stand up like this. I'm going to keep this leg up, keep it out as much as I can. Okay, and then obviously that would be a little easy. I would have to lower the box, or I stand on something to make. So if you don't have a bunch of different options of chairs and heights and steps, maybe get some books or something. So if your chair is this height, you can stand on some books and then that kind of lower the height of the chair, right? Yeah, I would say keep that simple. You could also use a doorway where you're kind of holding the doorway and kind of helping yourself up a little bit. But I would say if you don't have these down, this WOD's going to add up because of the number of them. V-ups, it's these ones here, hands to the ground. And then when I need to scale that down more, I'm going to turn that into more of a tuck, right? 20 is a lot of V-ups, so you might be breaking them up. But in this WOD, you have every minute you're going to stop and do burpees, so things might get broken up on their own, right? Yeah, and then shoulder overhead. So it's just like what we were doing in the strength with a barbell, right? With a dumbbell, and then with a kettlebell. Okay, so just make sure that you're evening it out. If you have the one-sided movement, so I would do 20 on the left, 20 on the right. I don't care how you break that up today. If you want to be able to do all 20 on one side and then break, that might get you going a little quicker. But yeah, so 16 minutes. What you're going to do is you're going to start every minute with 3 burpees. So you're going to start the workout with 3 burpees. So when the clock goes, 3 burpees. Maybe that takes you 15 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever that takes you. Then you have the rest of the minute to kind of dive into the rounds. And then every minute you got to pay attention to where the clock's at, because you got to stop where you are, remember where you left off, and continue on. So say I'm halfway through round 1 and I'm at 10 V-ups and the minute hits, I'm going to do my 3 burpees for the minute, and then I'm going to start back on V-up number 11, right? And I'm just going to keep going from there. So you might have to kind of, it might be a little hard to keep track, but make sure you don't miss those burpees. It's a big part of the workout today, okay? And it's not like you finish your set. So say I got, 3 more shoulder overhead to do. I don't just get to do the 3 more shoulder overhead before I do those burpees. Even if I've got only 3 left, I've got to stop, do the burpees, then do the 3, and then go. So it's not just do the burpees whenever you feel like it. It has to be right at that minute. Okay? Yeah, so it should be a good one, especially the strength.